If you did go in and let's say you did some drywall work or something else, you cannot write off your time. You can write off the supplies, but not your time. So it is beneficial. The money that you spend on a property management company, you'll get back tenfold with no aggravation, and of course making sure the work was done properly and you don't have constant phone calls from tenants.
Yeah, again, part of what we like to present to our audience in this show is the benefit of using professionals. When to use a realtor, when to use an attorney, when to use a title company, when to use a property management company. There are many things, and we also like to put information out there for those who want to do it on their own. I get people who want to do a for sale by owner. Okay, well, there's nothing wrong with doing for sale by owner, though we recommend and expound upon the benefits of using a licensed real estate agent. There are plenty of times when for sale by owner is perfectly fine, or you already have a buyer for your home, so you don't need the realtor, but you still may need an attorney or still may need a title company. And again, when you're doing property management, could you rent the property yourself? Yes, you have a friend who wants to rent the property from you. Maybe you get a lease from Office Depot. Maybe you call an attorney for a lease. Maybe you find something online. But then there are other factors involved. And again, there's value in using a professional in all aspects of life, and especially in this area, because there are so many pitfalls in trying to manage your own rental property, even if it's just a one-off.
Tony, I was doing some research on there. Do you have a magic formula? I think the national formula is something like 1% of the value of the home as far as renting, but I know it kind of is based on what the rental market is doing and so forth. But how do you work out your formula on how much it's going to rent for? I know you can probably use similar properties, but there's always going to be that property that is in a development or a place that doesn't have a lot of comparables.
Well, I'd like to jump back to what John was talking about because it kind of hits on what you were just saying. Okay. We do, even though we're a licensed Florida property management company, we do use licensed attorneys on every deal. We do use licensed realtors on every deal. I feel a little differently only because of the fact that I believe that if you use it, even if you're trying to sell your home on your own, there's a lot of things that you can, just by signing on the dotted line, you can get sued. That's the whole point of having an attorney and having a realtor. We always, any property we buy, we use a licensed real estate company, and any property that we go through an attorney. We definitely, if you're looking to invest or thinking about investing, definitely call around, find your attorney first, call around, find your realtor. Your realtor is going to be your best friend, especially if you're looking to invest.
Which might be a good opportunity. Jonathan, give out your information on how they can find a real estate attorney.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Jean. Well, there's two different things, and again, I don't want to step on toes because we do have some related businesses here, but as Lack & Lack Chartered, we're a transactional real estate law firm and can be reached at lacklaw.com. That's LACKLAW.com, or by telephone, area code 321-953-5115. We also have Waterview Title Services, so if you've already got your closing ready, we can assist you with as the closing agent. And also, finally, in the part where we compete a little bit, is Waterview Realty Services, which is a full-service real estate brokerage that does also do some property management. And Waterview Realty can be found on the web at waterviewre.com.
Kind of back to what we were talking about, that percentage, though, if it's a $100,000 property, is there some formula that you use for what you feel like you can get a rent for that and so forth? Because as you said, you don't want, what the information I found is you don't necessarily want to have the worst looking house in the development to rent either. You want to be in good developments, but you want to take advantage of whatever the assessed values are and so forth in that to come up with your rental.
Absolutely. Our formula is a licensed real estate company. Okay. That's our agent is our formula. She'll do comps for us. She'll let us know what properties in the area are renting for, what they should rent for, what they have rented for, also what the properties would sell for in today's market and maybe in future markets. So they actually do most of the work for you, and that's why we definitely recommend using a licensed real estate company. And we're not in competition with Mr. Lack because Mr. Lack is a full-service company, but we only do property management. We are not a licensed real estate company. We don't sell property.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Tony. Now, towards that end, again, I respect how you go about determining what fair market value and rental value is. That is the way to do it, is to check the market, and the market is ever changing. So, of course, you have to be attuned to where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. And again, licensed agents have the tools available to make those determinations. But is there some formula for I guess it's a rate of return you're looking for, or how would a layperson go about getting started saying, okay, I see this house at $100,000. I think it can rent for $1,200 a month. Is there some formula that they use to say, okay, that's good, bad, or otherwise?
Yeah, we usually like to see anywhere between 15 and 20% return.
Okay.
Is standard what we like to see. Give or take the neighborhood. I mean, the lower price the house is, you're not going to get 15 or 20%. And, of course, on the bigger dollar properties, you should be able to get a little bit more than 15%.
Okay. And that return, how do you go about calculating your return? Are you subtracting out?
Well, we subtract out the taxes, the insurance, if there's a mortgage payment, and then principal and interest, which there shouldn't be principal and interest if it is a rental property.
There again, if somebody has a high interest rate and they haven't refinanced, that could throw off the whole equation, because they might be difficult to rent and make any kind of profit on it if their mortgage payment is real high.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
Those are all the kind of formulas you have to use, and you want to have probably a certain amount you probably want to keep aside for any kind of repairs and so forth too. Is there a formula on that? That maybe 10% of the rent you should be thinking about that it could come back on a repair down the line?
Absolutely, Gene. What we normally tell all of our customers is keep at least 1 to 2 months in reserve at all time. This way, in case the property is not rented for a month during repairs or in between tenants, also for any other repairs or anything that's needed.
You know, there's a lot of tips that comes to mind as far as if you were sitting with someone and they're thinking, you know, Tony, I wouldn't mind having a couple properties. I always say I can tell when real estate's doing well because all of a sudden we're flooded with these commercials on TV on how to invest in real estate and come to my seminar and buy my book. You can always tell real estate's going up in value when you see all those seminars. But there are probably some key things. I would assume, again, you want those professionals involved, but number one would be buy at the right price. And do you have any other tips on other things that they might want to consider when buying property? Price
is important, but quality is important as well. There's no sense in buying a property that's cheaper or undervalued, but that needs $35,000 worth of repairs when you can get that property that's turnkey, because you're going to have 3 or 4 months in repairs that you're not collecting rent for. Where if you get a property that's turnkey, not only are you saving that money, let's say you spent the same money, you're getting an additional 2 or 3 more months worth of rent and no headaches during the repairs. Repairs are a lot of headaches. Contractors are very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, I just went through some renovations on a property, and it never, ever goes the way you anticipate, no matter how much you prepare for it.
It never costs what it's supposed to cost.
Yeah.
Exactly. I've noticed in the last, maybe 18 months, 2 years at the top of our rental market has skyrocketed. And it seems like everything's gone up about 15 to 20%. Have you been seeing that as well? The rental fees, the rental market has jumped from, I know in my neighborhood, the homes were renting for about $900. Now they're renting for $1,400 a month.
We've seen a major increase in rents within the last probably 4 to 5 years. But that's just typical. I mean, you're going to have price increases and rental increases come along with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What happened, just to go back a little bit in time, we had this real estate financial crisis where the market just collapsed, and so many people ultimately ended up losing their homes. And of course, that creates a supply and demand situation. So when you have a lot of displaced homeowners, they need to rent. And when there's a lot of displaced people needing to rent values go up. So it's sort of a supply and demand. I think as the real estate market settles, hopefully just for everybody's benefit, everything settles in and the rental market settles as well. Though, again, when I say everybody's benefit, if you're a landlord, you want the rents to be high. And if you're a tenant, you want them down.
Tony, I'm going to ask you a question that I didn't really prepare you for, but let's see if maybe you can help out a little bit. There is something that has to do with local government. I believe it's called Section 8, where they'll participate in the rentals. But I understand the property actually has to be approved to be involved with the Section 8 as well. Do you have any information on Section 8, how it works, and what the advantages would be for someone owning property?
I'll be honest with you, our company doesn't accept Section 8, but a lot of companies do, and it is a big benefit for the landlord or the tenant. You just have to find tenants that are on the Section 8 and already approved, and landlords that are willing to accept it. The properties do need to meet a certain criteria. I don't know exactly what that criteria is. They would have to find out. But it is a benefit for the landlords and the tenants if you can come to
It's basically they pay a smaller rent, but the local government pitches in for the rest of it or something like to that.
Absolutely. And the landlord is guaranteed their money.
Mm-hmm. So I would, how would be the criteria of someone renting now? What kind of, I know they have to do a credit report. I suppose there's a certain criteria on that. Are you looking for a good credit? Can somebody be coming out of a foreclosure or financially something like a bankruptcy and still be able to rent?
Well, with our company, I can't speak for other companies, but for our company, as long as they answer all the questions truthfully on the application, they will run a credit report. But the only two things we do look for is bankruptcy and eviction. And even if they have a bankruptcy or an eviction, we just charge an additional $200 on top of the security deposit, which is refundable at the end of the lease per bankruptcy, per eviction. So if you had, let's say, 2 evictions, it would be an additional $400 on top of the security deposit, which is 100% refundable at the end of your lease. It's just a higher risk for our company, so of course the tenant has to pay a higher security deposit, but is not turned down for that reason.
And a standard security deposit is what, 1 month's rent?
A standard security deposit is a little over 1 month's rent usually with us, anywhere between 5 to 10% more than what the current rent is.
Okay. Any other tips if someone's thinking, how would they find rental property? I know we're going to say call us and we'll see if we can find something. But if someone's just kind of wanting to see what's out there, should they be reading the newspaper and finding any articles about people moving out of the area? Or I know there's a lot of people that watch the obituary section and all kinds of things to find properties, but that's probably not the purpose of this show to tell you about that. But there's probably some other criteria that people could be looking for to find those choice properties. Have you got a little handle on that, Tony?
The only thing that I suggest is call around to the property management companies, see what they have available, go on their websites, or again, we're a true believer of using a licensed real estate company. You call a realtor, they'll probably hand you more properties than you even could drive around and look at.
Well, we often refer to John Lack's secret list. We have people that are looking for investments, and we also have people that we know in the next 6 or 8 months may have a property for sale. Maybe that's in probate right now. It could be something where they're going to have to do a short sale. So we know of properties that are coming up that would be an ideal situation for people that are looking for investments as well. We always call it John's secret list. Yeah. So those are some of the other ideas. Give out your website about how people could find out about their secret list, John.
It's not so much the secret list, but most agencies will have some form of contacts and networking, and the best way to do business in any scenario is networking. Part of the purpose of our show is to meet other people and to grow our own personal network and also the network of our listeners. And so to grow my network, I will give you lacklaw.com, LACKLAW.com. Can be reached by telephone at 321-953-5115. And again, that's Lack and Lack Chartered, which are transactional real estate attorneys. And Waterview Realty Services also can help find rental properties, be you a landlord or a tenant.
Tony Pendle, give out your information if someone has property they would like to put in your rental pool, or they're interested in perhaps being involved with property that you find, and or they have some property they want to share with you that you can buy and rent it. How would they get in touch with you?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Our office number is area code 321-802-0334, and you want to ask for Jessica. And again, that number is area code 321-802-0334. And we'll be more than happy to list any property. And again, we are a full service management company.
And your website one more time.
www.floridapropertymanagementandinvestments.com.
Yeah, make sure you have all of those in there spelled out. Is Florida spelled out, or is it just FL?
It is all spelled out.
All spelled out.
Yes, ma'am.
If you would like more information about our future shows or our past shows, please go to our website at yourhometownsolutions.com. We'll have our past guest information there as well. If you would like to hear any of our past shows, if you're right now listening to this on a link, you go to yourhometownsolutions.com or talk